Hello everyone, welcome. Today's practice, we're going to work on hips and shoulders, both with strengthening and with releasing. Again, just sitting at a computer all day, those are the areas that we tend to feel tight and need to loosen up, but also we start to get a little weaker. So let's start by moving the spine. Hold on to your front shin or ankle. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Exhale, stretch your spine back. Inhale, rock forward, and exhale, rock back. Remember, you have an alternate position for your legs with knees bent and feet wide. Sometimes that's more comfortable. So either way, just feel the rocking of your spine, but also notice how your hips and shoulders get into the movement. As you exhale and draw the spine back, the shoulders come up to the ears a little bit. And as you inhale to reach the spine forward, the shoulders drop down and the chest reaches forward. Keep moving for a few more breaths, just like that. On your next inhalation, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, relax. Notice your body. Notice your spine. Now let's move into twists, left and right. Hands come up to the shoulders, elbows to the side. You're going to inhale as you twist one way, exhale as you twist the other. You're going to bring your head around, close your eyes. It's also okay to keep your head forward. Just letting your eyes rest on one point. On your next inhalation, come to center, and then exhale, relax the hands down. Just notice your body. Take a nice deep breath in, fill up into the low ribs, and then sigh it out. And then let's move side to side with the spine. Placing the left hand down, reach the right arm up and over your head, curving to the side, and then move over to the other direction. Do that a few times. Inhale as you lean one way, exhale as you lean the other. And finishing up on the opposite side of where you started, come back into center and relax. Lean back onto your hands. Stretch your feet out straight in front of you. Legs are straight to start. And then draw one knee in, open it out to the side, and then draw it back up and straighten the leg out. Go over to the other side. Knee up and then out before up again and straight out. So you can stay with this motion. This is more forgiving for the hips and the knees. Or you can add a little bit of strengthening by letting the foot float away from the floor. So as you come back, you just let the foot hover. Once again, finish up the opposite side from where you started, and then stretch the legs out. Now, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees are out to the side. Still lean back onto your hands. That takes some of the work and the weight out of your spine. And then you're going to butterfly the knees. Go slowly enough that you feel the muscles engaging on each side of the leg. Inner thighs as you draw your knees up, outer thighs as you draw your knees down. Now come into a place with the knees that feels pretty comfortable for you, so nothing that's too intense, which might mean your knees are pretty high up. And then press your feet into one another. So you're activating the underside muscles in the legs, you're getting that good pressure in. Notice if that helps you or causes you to draw your navel back and get a little extra sensation in the lower belly. Take one more breath here. And then soften, relax with the legs, but now keeping your feet right together, bring your hands forward. You can leave your hands behind you if that gives you better support, or bring your hands to your ankles or your feet. And then start to tip your pelvis forward, as if you're sending your tail back more and more behind you. You can reach your chest forward. You can soften your eyes and gaze downwards. Just come into a steady and smooth breath. And then inhale, lift back up. And then draw your legs together and you're going to come around. I'm just going to turn on my mat. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your knees are bent. Your fingertips can either be forward towards your bottom or they can face away from one another. That's a little more forgiving for the wrists with the fingertips pointed outwards. And push down into your hands, push down into your feet, and then see if the hips will hover away from the floor. If that feels okay, start to lift your hips a little more and a little more, paying special attention to how the shoulders are feeling as you come into reverse table. So your reverse table might be lower than this. Keep looking down your body or look up, whatever feels better in your neck. And then slowly release the hips back down to the floor. Now bring your hands to come underneath of the thighs. Lift the chest up, descending the shoulders away from the ears. Pull the belly in as you lift your heels and then eventually your toes away from the floor. Your shins could be parallel to the floor or you could slowly start to straighten the legs out. Toes could be pointed or flexed or somewhere in between, but keep sending some energy out through the legs and up through the chest. Take one more breath here. And as you drop the legs straight down to the floor, reach the arms up. And then exhale, lean forward any amount, bringing the hands down to the knees or the shins or the ankles or even the toes. Looking more downwards, just let your breath become steady and feel the belly soften, navel moving towards thighs. And then back in towards the spine with each breath. And slowly start to help yourself up. And we're going to come all the way up to standing. So whatever way you make it to standing is perfect. Good. And once standing, you're going to have your heels right underneath of your sit bones. And your toes straight forward, so about hip width apart. Then with your hands coming to your heart, turn your gaze down towards your middle fingers. Take a couple of breaths here, feeling the strength of your legs as you press down into the earth through your feet. And we'll move through our half sun salutation, Ardha Surya Namaskar. So on an exhalation, release your hands down. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, partway lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, thumbs through midline. Go again. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale, partway lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale through center. A few more just like that. Move at your own pace, connecting one breath per movement. Let this be the last one. And as your hands come back to your heart, just pause there for a moment. Now lowering the hands down to the waistline, take a wide stance out on your mat. We're going to move into some side stances next. So turn the right foot out 90 degrees. Pick up the left heel and draw it out. Take the arms up so they're shoulder height and turn the gaze to the right hand. As you exhale, bend the front knee to come into Warrior Two pose. Keep activating the outer side of the right hip to keep the knee opening with the little toe side of the foot. You can even look down and see if you can peek at your big toe. Keep the knee open, feel the outer hip working. Now pressing down into your feet, straighten the front leg, and then come into triangle. Reach out and come on down. Once the right hand is resting, reach with the left arm straight to the sky. Now internally rotate through the left arm and bring it down behind you. See where you can touch along your spine or along your back. And then reach the arm up towards the sky, releasing that internal rotation, and then reach the arm over the head. Do that again. Arm straight up, internally rotate so the palm of the hand faces behind you, and then tap the back of the hand to the back body, and then reverse to reach over your head. Good. Pause there with the hands straight out from the shoulder. Press into your feet again, lift back up, and then bend the front knee, coming through warrior two, and then elbow to thigh for extended angle. Take this top arm, reach it over the head, and this time, bending at the elbow, touch the left hand to somewhere along your back. If that doesn't work for you, you can just drape your arm next to your head, and if that doesn't work, just keep your hand right on your hip. Push down into the feet, lift back up to stand, and then turn the feet forward. We'll move to the other side. Left foot out, right heel out, turn the gaze, and then exhale, bend the front knee. Warrior two. Really activate the outer left hip, keeping the knee opening towards the little toe side of the foot. Look down, see if you can see your big toe. Now push into your feet, straighten the front leg, come into triangle, Trikonasana, reach out and tip over. Once the left hand is down, just pause there, feeling the strength in your legs. Feel the reach out through your spine. And then internally rotate through the upper arm bone to tuck the top arm behind your back. And then reverse it to reach it over the head. Do that one more time. And then as you reach the arms straight up, push into the feet, lift back up to stand, bend the front knee, elbow to thigh. Slowly take the right arm over the head, and then bending at the elbow, see if the hand will tap down somewhere along your back. Alternatives are head draped across the head or hand on the hip. Push into the feet, lift back up to stand, flip your feet to the front, and then step together for Tadasana. Mountain pose. Take a few breaths here. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth to let out any heat. Now, bring your hands to your waist. You're going to face towards the short end of your mat. Your right foot is going to be forward. Your left foot is going to be back. So once you're in your front stance, back toes mostly forward, hips and ribs mostly forward. And if you feel wobbly, heel toe the right foot to the right. Now, with your legs staying nice and strongly connected to the earth, take the arms up, inhale, and then exhale to bend the front knee, coming into warrior one pose. So we're not going to stay in warrior one arms and torso. We're going to stay in warrior one legs though. So keep that front knee right grounded with the front ankle. And as you exhale, you're going to sweep your hands down by your hips and lean forward as if you were going to full humble warrior, where your head touches the floor. Don't worry, you're not going there. Inhale, reach back up. And exhale, lean forward. Do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, lean forward. This time when you reach up, stay there, pause. Now straighten your front leg. Drop your right arm so the hand is coming behind you. Left arm goes internally rotated so it comes to your back. Yeah, so the left hand is behind, the right arm is the one that's up. Now with both legs staying nice and straight and your arms bound in whatever way feels okay to you, you'll lean forward. So Parshvottanasana, pyramid pose. If this is too much for either shoulder, just drop it out. Bring your hands to your hips. You can do that with both shoulders if that feels better. Slowly lift back up. Release your bind. Leave your legs as they are. Hands come to the waist. Spin the back heel up. So you're coming up onto the ball of the foot. And then you're going to just slowly start to drop the left knee down towards the floor. If it touches, that's fine, but don't stay there. Lift back up. Do that once more. Slowly bend the back knee down. And then press back up. Good. Step together. We'll do the other side. Left foot is forward, right foot comes back. Hips and ribs mostly forward. Remember, you can heel toe the left foot to the left if you need to. Using an inhalation, reach the arms up, and as you exhale, bend the front knee. Coming into your warrior one. Feel strong through your legs, especially that front knee staying locked right in place where you don't feel any pull over the front of the knee. If you do, shorten your stance front to back. Then from here, as you exhale, lean forward, sweep your hands back behind you, and then inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up. Straighten your front leg. This time the left arm stays up as the hand comes to touch your back. Right arm comes down to the down position. Holding onto your shirt or a strap or your hand, use an exhalation as you lean forward. Remember, if the arm position doesn't feel right, just bring your hands to your waist. That'll be a lot better. Push into your feet, lift back up to stand, release your bind, and step together. Pause, letting smooth breath in through your nose and a slow breath out through the mouth. So now you're going to clasp your hands together behind your back. The elbows could stay bent with the hands resting on the sacrum, or you might want to straighten out your arms if your shoulders don't mind that. Now, I'm going to step forward, or if you have enough space behind you, you can stay right where you are, but it's the right foot that we're going to put the weight into, and then the left toes will come behind. Just prepping for warrior three. So feel the strength in the right leg. Keep reaching the chest forward. See if the left toes will hover any amount away from the floor. Set your gaze at something in front of you or slightly down that's not going to move. And then however much your torso comes down is how much your back leg lifts. When you feel done, step down, release your bind. Breathe. As we go to the other side, make sure you change the clasp of your hands. So whatever pinky was on the bottom, put the other one there in place. Then feeling your shoulders opening back as your elbows may or may not straighten. Weight will shift into the left foot, right toes come behind. Keep reaching the chest forward. And then as you're ready, toes might float away from the floor. You can choose the angle that you take with your body. So as your torso starts to lower and your leg starts to lift behind you, if you feel any of that uncomfortable sensation in your lower back, just lift up some. Take out some of the angle. Whenever you feel done, release your foot, release your bind, and breathe. And let your breath just smooth out, become steady and even. And I'm going to turn back. You don't have to. This is a stationary pose for the most part. This is our eagle pose, Garudasana. So with Garudasana, first we take an arm bind. You have a few options for this. You'll take your right arm under your left, and you're either going to hook so that the elbows are stacked, or you're going to hug, or you're holding onto your shoulders, or you can bind. So choose the position that feels the best to you and your shoulders. Hook, hug, or bind. Once you have that, start to soften through your knees. Put the weight over into your right foot, bend the left knee straight forward and pick up your heel. Now feel the strength come into your center. Pull your belly back and stretch up with your spine. If you like, you can pick up the knee and then cross the thighs. Cross as high up as you can. That'll give you the best chance of tucking your left toes behind your right shin or calf muscle. I like to put my toes on the floor. It's a little kickstand version. Just pause there. Maybe lift the elbows a little up away from the chest to get more of a sensation of stretch. And when you feel done, float the arms out and come on down. Moving to the other side. Arms come up in a V. Left elbow to hook under, or bind, or hug. So whatever feels better to you. Once you have it, soften your knees, start to put the weight over into your left foot. As you bend the right knee, pick up the heel. Feel the belly draw in, core muscles engage, and the spine stretch up. And when you're ready, pick up the right leg and cross it over the left. Take another breath here. When you feel done, stretch out and come on down. Good. Take a nice wide stance on your mat. Toes are going to stay straight forward for this one. For this one, you might also want a yoga block or a little stool. Sometimes it feels like the floor is really far away when we do this wide leg forward fold. One of the things that can make the floor closer is widening your stance, so long as you feel like you can handle a little wider stance. Firm the thighs, hands come to the hips, and then exhale as you hinge forward. Hands come right underneath of the shoulders. Again, you can use a block or even a chair underneath of your hands if that's going to feel better to you. Another option is to start leaning more and more forward with your torso and then walk your hands back. As your hands come back, you could flip your palms to the sky, or you could even reach out for the backs of your ankles or the backs of your calves. Find the place that feels the best. And wherever you are in this wide leg forward fold, allow your chin to drop towards your chest, and then the head starts to get heavier and heavier. Just let your breath stay smooth and even and steady. So instead of coming up and out of this pose, we're actually going to move into child's pose. So from here, you will have to walk your hands forward again so they're more under the shoulders. And then spinning one foot one way, spin the back heel up and walk the hands around. And then lower down to your knees, sink your hips back, stack your fists under your forehead or your hands. Or you can set your head on the floor and reach your arms all the way forward or back. And as you're in child's pose, allow your breath to become smooth and steady. Let your forehead soften. Let the eyes relax. Let the breath fill into the low back rib cage. And then extend the exhalation. A longer exhalation is actually a more relaxing breath. And then let's slowly crawl up and then crawl forward. First into table pose. And in table, just wiggle out your hips, move your shoulders however feels good to you. And then walk your hands one handprint forward and start to drop your hips so you're in a knee plank. So the shoulders are stacked over top of the wrists. The hips are only lowering down so that you feel your belly and your back working rather equally. Another option is to tuck your toes under and lift your knees and come into foot plank or regular plank. I like knee plank. Stay in plank pose or knee plank pose if you like, or roll over towards one hand and come into side plank. So your feet can either stack one in front of the other, or if you're on your knee, you just spin your toes to be the same direction as you're facing. Come back through center and go to the other side. Come back through center and return to child's pose. Just crawl back, sink hips towards heels. Your child's pose may be hips more up. And if this is not comfortable on your knees, you could try putting a blanket under your knees, or you can actually roll over onto your back and bring your knees to your chest. Take a few more breaths here, just letting the shoulders soften, letting the breath become smooth and even. So if your shoulders are already feeling the sensation from the work we've done, especially the knee plank or the plank that we've already done, you might want to opt out of this next pose, which is dolphin pose. So it's always okay to not do a pose. You can stay in your recovery pose, your child's pose, or you can go back to knee plank, what we just did. If you'd like to try dolphin, first you'll crawl forward into table, and then place your elbows directly underneath of your shoulders. Your palms can press together. You could even clasp your hands, but if you do that, definitely take the pinky fingers out so you have a smooth, even surface on the outer side of the hand. And then looking down, tuck your toes under, push down into your forearms and elbows, hover the knees, see how that feels in your shoulders. If it feels okay, drop your head down so the arms and the ears are pretty much aligned, and take your hips up. It might help to keep the knees bent and the heels up, or you could even walk your toes closer into your elbows, and that's going to give you more and more sensation in your shoulders. So the closer the toes come towards the elbows, the more weight you're putting in your arms. If you're feeling a lot in your hamstrings, definitely keep the knees bent. You can also take your feet a little wider. Sometimes a wider stance actually can feel better in the legs. Does that help? Stay so long as your breath is smooth and even and you're not experiencing pain. As soon as you experience strain or pain, you definitely want to come on down. So take another couple of breaths here if you can, if they can stay smooth and even, and you stay strong sensations through your shoulders. And eventually just lower your knees down, sink right back into your recovery pose, your child's pose. If you bring your hands by your feet, that allows the shoulders to sink up towards the ears and fall down towards the floor with gravity. And just concentrate on letting your breath be smooth and even and steady. Maybe even starting to extend the exhalation as you're ready. And extend your exhalation, again, that's a relaxing breath, and you can use that anytime, not just during your yoga practice, just whenever during the day you need more relaxation. So now we're going to come up, and we're going to come to kneeling to transition into lunges. So as you come to kneeling, sometimes the floor, especially if you have a hard floor, can be really uncomfortable under your knees. So I recommend just folding up your mat to give you a little softness under your knees if you don't have a blanket close by. And then from kneeling, you're going to take your right foot and step it forward. Once your right foot is forward, hands come onto the front knee or thigh, and start to sink your hips towards the front heel. So they're going forward, but also a little bit down, and you should feel a stretch on the front of the back hip and thigh. If you don't, back up your hips, wiggle your foot more forward, and then drop again. So that's how you can add to intensity if you want to. Now we're going to drop the hands inside of the foot. So both hands inside the foot. If it feels like the floor is really far away, you're going to have to get some yoga blocks again, or a low stool, whatever you have close by. You can even be up onto your spider fingers, your fingertips. That gives you a little more height. You're just going to keep dropping your hips forward. And then as you're ready, you might be able to come down to palms on the floor. Maybe you can walk your hands more forward, and you can explore taking the elbows down. So usually when your right foot is forward, your left elbow comes down more easily. So it's okay to be a little bit lopsided here. If you can get both elbows down, go for it. This is called lizard pose. Let's slowly walk the hands back up, and then start to back up the hips as you walk your hands back, and then starting to straighten the front leg. Peel the sole of the foot off of the floor, toes straight up to the sky, and sink your hips a little bit back. You should feel the stretch along the back of the leg and the hamstrings. You can come up onto the fingertips, reach your chest forward. This is half splits, or Ardha Hanumanasana. And then wiggle enough forward with your hips that you can take your foot out to the side and then switch. So once you're here in table, go ahead and circle your hips around in one direction and then the other. And then when you're ready, come back to kneeling so you can step your left foot forward. Once the left foot's forward, hands on the front thigh, start to drop your hips. See if you're getting enough sensation, an appropriate amount of sensation for you. You know it's enough if the sensation is strong enough that your mind stays with your body and with that sensation. It's too much if you're feeling strain. Strain is one step away from pain, and you do not want pain in your practice. Yoga practice is not the place we have pain. In fact, no pain is our motto. And then let's start to walk the hands down. Again, you can be up on your fingertips. Eventually you come to your palms. Walk the hands more forward. And then eventually, maybe, possibly exploring elbow down. If you're close to having your elbow down and you have a block, a yoga block, that can be a good way to try it out. As we start to lift out of the pose, the hands back up. And then with your hands inside of your foot, start to back up your hips, slowly straightening the left leg. Peel the sole of the foot off of the floor, toes are straight up. Lift onto your fingertips, it's easier to reach the chest forward. Really tipping the pelvis to get the sensation in the thigh and reaching the spine. Feel like you're even with the first side, walk enough forward that you can free your leg, come back to your table, and encircle with your hips. And then when you're ready, come and sit. So you're going to come to sit. Yeah, we'll go this way. Your legs are straight out in front of you. We're going to come to a twist. So we're going to start this twist in Baddha Konasana. So coming back to that position we took earlier where the soles of the feet are together and the knees are out to the side. You can prop yourself up with your hands behind you. Feel the sit bones pressing down. Those are the bony protrusions at the base of your pelvis. Feel the spine reaching up. And then use an exhalation as you twist to the right. Bring your left hand across to the right thigh. Bring your right hand more in line with your sacrum or your tailbone and look behind you as far as you can. Now gently unwind. Come back through center and go to the other side. Right hand comes across, left hand behind, and turn your gaze. Now coming back into center. You have two options for this next position. The next position is for the outer hip, and it's a modification of pigeon pose, if you're familiar with that. So one of the easiest ways to come into this is by straightening out the left leg, because we're going to turn towards the right. So that's one option. That's the most accessible for most people. Another option could be leaning over onto the right hip, bending the left knee, and taking the foot back. So it's Virasana, half Baddha Konasana, so half hero's pose. So you can take that foot back if you like. If you take the foot back, the knees are still mostly aligned. So there's just straight line, knee to knee. It's just now you flip the lower part of your leg back. You put most of your weight still in your right hip. You'll notice the left hip might be coming up some, and let it. And now first you're going to turn to face the right leg. So you're trying to line up the chest with the thigh. And then you'll exhale and you'll start to lean out over the leg. And you'll just keep coming forward, maybe even getting your elbows down onto the floor. And if you have the space available and you can put your head on the floor and you want to reach your arms out, you could do that too. So you may be feeling the sensation in the back inner thigh, and hopefully you're feeling the sensation also in the front outer thigh. But really, as long as you're getting the appropriate amount of sensation, again, enough sensation in your body that you can keep your mind with that sensation. So as soon as you kind of check out, then you know it's not really enough for you. So one of the paths to more in this pose, if you want to try it, is to come up onto your hands and then start to direct the chest instead of with the thigh, more with the shin or the ankle or even the foot. Now this does require a lot of back flexibility and strength. So the more you're taking your torso over to the right, to the left, the more you're going to feel it in your back. So don't try to undo whatever the back is naturally going to. But that will increase the sensation in the hip. If it's increasing a lot more just in the knee, then I recommend coming back out and going over the way that we were before. Take another couple of breaths here. And then let's slowly peel up. Lean all the way onto your right hip so you can easily bring your left foot forward. And then let's take a break between sides just to lean onto the hands, bend the knees, and windshield wiper them side to side. Come back into center. Start from your Baddha Konasana. And then lean over to your left hip to bring the right foot back. Again, the knees are more or less aligned. The weight stays over into your left hip. And then you lean out over the thigh. And just like the first side, your alternative is to keep the legs straight. So you always start with the sensation of stretch that feels pretty good, but oftentimes as we stay longer and we take the longer holds, then the sensation starts to lessen, and that's when the mind starts to wander. So if that happens, it's really like an invitation from your body to go for more. So you can do that slowly. So maybe your chest lines up more with the very top part of your shin, and if that starts to become not enough, then you lift up and you go more in line with the bottom part of your shin. Eventually you might even line up your heart with your foot, maybe. But never push, never force, never experience pain. If you experience pain, it's your body saying something is wrong. You don't just fight through that, especially in yoga practice. And you could do it at the gym, I guess. Not in our yoga. Stay there and breathe. Notice the sensations, including the sensation of breath. Sometimes you can feel the exhalation helping you to soften muscles. And as you are ready, slowly start to peel up. Get the weight over into the left hip. Take the right leg forward, soles of the feet down, prop up onto your hands, and windshield wiper your knees. And come on back to center. And then you're going to flip around and you're going to lie onto your back. So whichever way you want to go. So lie down onto your back. Nothing under the head to start. We're going to go into moving bridge pose. I think we did this last week together. So the hands are going to be down by the hips, palms flat. Bend the knees, place the feet flat. And then as you inhale, you're going to push into the feet and start to lift the hips up. Any amount. And then as you exhale, lower them back down. So as you keep moving with your breath, inhale lifts the hips and the exhale lowers, you may notice with each successive lift that you'll be able to lift maybe a little bit higher. So if that's available to you, if your body is saying that's okay, then go ahead and take the hips higher and higher. Each time you inhale, you lift up, and then you exhale and lower down. Stop anytime you need to. It's always okay to just keep the hips down, draw your knees to your chest. If this is still feeling pretty good to you, The next time you lift up, you could stay lifted. And if you're staying lifted, you could even clasp your hands together underneath of you. Wiggle the shoulders closer in towards one another. Make sure it feels okay in the neck. If you're getting any sensation in the neck, then please release your bind and come on down. The lower back, you could feel a little sensation as long as it's not pain. You might be able to just direct your tailbone towards the backs of your knees, and that'll give you more space, or re-energize the legs by pushing into the feet. Sometimes that feels pretty good. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly lower your hips back down. Once the hips have landed, draw your knees into your chest, give them a hug and a little side to side wavering or stirring in each direction. So now we're going to come into floor twist, and that can be done either with the knees stacked, or I'll offer to you a little more sensation, again through your hips, by coming into eagle legs. So we did eagle earlier standing. That was the one where we bound up our arms and crossed our legs over. And this can be done as a twist as well. You'll just have to see how it feels as you start lowering your legs down to one side. So we'll start with the right leg crossing over the left, and just do it with your normal. So right leg crosses over the left, and you're crossing up on the thighs as much as you can. And then as you start to lower your knees over to the left, you'll see if you need to uncross the knees, because you'll feel it too much in your knee, your top knee usually, or your back. If it feels okay, you could even just settle the sole of the right foot on the floor, or maybe the toes, if the foot doesn't want to go all the way down. As you're here, you may notice that you can drop the knees more and more down towards the earth, so long as it's not negatively affecting your lower back, your hip, your knee. Make sure all of that feels pretty good. And then the right shoulder can soften down towards the floor. One more breath here. And you can draw the knees back up to center. You can uncross them first if that's easier for you. And then once you're up, uncross the legs, take the left one over the right. And then once you have that, you'll slowly start to drop the knees over to the right side. And then the foot will come down. Notice the sensation. If there's any negative sensation in your knee especially, or your hip or your low back, then definitely uncross the legs and just stack the legs one on top of the other. Do your normal version of floor twist. Try to soften as much as you can. Just enjoy that sensation. Noticing your breath. And then when you feel done with this side, or even with the first side, slowly come on back up. And then uncross the legs. And one last time, draw your knees in towards your chest. Feel the belly draw back towards the spine as you exhale, and then curl your forehead up towards your knees, causing a little tension in the front body. And then as you're ready, release. Come on down, stretch your legs out. You can pull a blanket under your head at this point. And rest in Shavasana. So your final relaxation. So sometimes when you come from twisting position, you might have not lined your hips and your shoulders as straight as you could. So if you can grab behind your head with your hand and look down your body and just make sure you're in a nice straight line with your hips and your shoulders. And then your arms are equally away from midline and your legs are equally away from midline. If it's comfortable for you to do so, turn your palms up to the sky. You can wiggle your shoulders under you so it feels like the heart, the chest has a bit of an opening. But make sure you don't squeeze the shoulder blades so close together that you lose the touch of your thoracic spine against the floor. You want to feel the thoracic spine actually resting against the earth. So it's the back of the heart feeling supported, the back of the head releasing. Feel like you're evenly weighted between both buttocks, the sacrum resting evenly down. You feel the calves evenly resting on the earth, and the heels. And just let your whole body soften down into the earth. And before you completely let go, do one final scan of your body. Release all tension, soften all muscles, let go of holdings. Once you're sure you're completely at ease, there should be no more effort. If you notice a thought make its way into your awareness, effortlessly release it. If another thought comes in to replace that one, effortlessly release that one as well. So keep doing that over and over again. The thought bubbles up into your awareness and you let it go. Slowly start to bring the awareness back into your physical body. Feel your body lying against the earth. Allow your breath to gently deepen. When you're ready, begin movement by wiggling fingers and wiggling toes, circling wrists and ankles. Eventually bending your knees to place the feet flat. And rolling gently over to one side. Use your arm as a pillow for your head if you don't have a blanket. And pause on your side. Breathe into your back. When you're ready, you slowly make your way up to a comfortable seat. Keeping your eyes either closed or almost all the way closed to preserve some of the quiet of your shavasana. You take a comfortable seat, lift through your spine, stretch up all the way through the crown of the head. And bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. And here we'll seal in our practice by taking a deep breath in and sigh it out. Om Shanti. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you awaken to the light of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be the source of healing for all beings. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.